Welcoming to the stage, Raisy and Cypher. Cypher, you guys have met once already today. It didn't go too well for you then, but there's been plenty of time since then, and you've come through the gauntlet in the lower bracket and just played and defeated Cooler to earn your spot back here on the stage. One of you will be able to progress to tomorrow. What's changed between this morning and now?
Nothing changed, I think. It's just the matter of warm-up or something like that. But anyway, I will just come to this game as this new game, and that's it.
And Raisy, this morning's games looked reasonably convincing. The games you guys played, for example, at PGL were a little bit closer, but I think, like Cypher just said, could have been a case of warm-up. Are you treating this as a brand new series as well, even though you're starting 1-0 up?
Yes, definitely. It's gonna start from the beginning again, one map at a time. Even though I have advantage, I'm gonna just focus on the current map all the time.
Two tremendously skilled players and a lot of respect between them. Gentlemen, best of luck in your match. Go ahead and get ready. They're set up and ready to go. One of these players is going to be joining 3 champions tomorrow in the semi-finals, and there we'll be able to get our final matches in the Italian Esports Open. Just this little best of 5, though, that keeps us between this and those games there. Analysts, over to you to tell us what you think will happen in this matchup.
Back and good evening, as we are just about to jump into our final game of the day. It will be Raisy versus Cypher once again, second showdown of the night, and the 4th one in a row, considering PGL as well. This is going to be interesting.
It's juicy. Is one of my favorite words for these kind of, I don't want to say drama-filled, but there's definitely some storylines behind these matches. The big thing is that Raisy is definitely going to be feeling the best, a hot 2-0 versus Cooler in the winner's side, giving him that one map advantage that you can see on the end of the bracket. But then Cypher was able to get a convincing 2-0 versus Cooler as well. I believe the first map was very, very dominant in Cypher's favour. And then, from what I was told, obviously we were actually commentating the first grand finals during that off-stream, but supposedly it was a dominant map 1 for Cypher, and then the second map, Blood Covenant, Cooler was 2-0 up, but then Cypher reversed 3-0'd it, which was an impressive result for him. He definitely has his work cut out for him versus Raisy, someone who has bested him multiple times in a short space. This is the 4th time they would have played on LAN in the space of 1 month, so you know Cypher's going to be feeling a certain way about that. Before we get into anything else, I think we really should cover the champions and the map picks. Yeah. So it's actually the same champion ban lineup as we saw last time. So the Clutch has been banned away by Cypher, and the Galena was taken away by Raisy, which makes total sense. That was what we saw last time, and it worked wonders. And we all know that Cypher does not like Clutch. Yeah. Now, in the maps, the map that has been removed via Raisy's one map advantage is Awoken. So Awoken is already out of there. Technically, he's won that already. The first map we're going to play on is Corrupted Keep. And then I believe we have the Veil of Nath is the selection from Raisy, which we're going to be seeing after Blood Covenant. And if it comes to a final map, it's Blood Run as our map number 5. So it's still technically 3 out of 5, but Raisy does have that map advantage, which is Awoken. Awoken's out of there. It's already been technically won by Raisy to begin with. So I'm going to give you an on-the-spot prediction, Flea.
On-the-spot prediction? I mean, I think that one map advantage that Raisy has could be so important. So far, his track record is amazing. I was talking to him earlier about this, though, and he said that he's not caring about the numbers. He's not playing for another win. He doesn't care how many times he beats Cypher in a row. He really is trying to take this one map, one game at a time, and he's just wanting to get through the day into the next series tomorrow. So it's definitely going to be an interesting one, but he does have that advantage, and in my eyes, that is probably going to be the decider.
We've seen already in our first grand finals of the day between Wenger and Rafa, which I really want to sort of give one final shout to Wenger for giving us what was one of the performances of his life. Ultimately was not able to take it versus Rafa, but I think he did a good job of unlocking some LAN potential there with his performance.
Yeah, Rafa said it himself at the very end. Just keep working on your game. There were so many touches of greatness coming out of Wenger. His railgun was amazing. He hit so many shots. I don't think you could tell on the stream, but I was out there in the audience, and there were a lot lot of Italian fans, and they were screaming their lungs out every single time Wenger got a frag. It was amazing, wonderful atmosphere.
And I think that's what actually fed him. That's what kind of gave him the increased confidence. But it's not going to be as similar here with Raisy and Cypher. No hometown heroes here in Italy for these guys. But they both want it just as bad. And, of course, it doesn't end here. We have the big matches tomorrow. Whoever wins this will be the last player joining Rafa, Claus and Kilson in tomorrow's semi-finals. So it's definitely not over today. It's going to be a hard-fought match regardless. Raisy is going to be... He's on better form right now. My prediction is going to go with Raisy, I think, because past results, 1 versus 1, he's had the upper hand, so it would almost feel foolish to bet against him. But at the same time, you just look at how Raisy is performing on LAN and online, and I just think he's in better shape. Currently with Quake champions.
It is Cypher, though, who is up against, and Cypher is the player who can always surprise. He's immensely talented, one of the best Quake players of all time, no doubt, and you really can never count him out. He can be extremely unconventional and make those things happen, make those play happen that you really wouldn't expect. But on that note, we are going to jump into the champion picks. Raisy starting off with a BJ as opposed to Cypher's Ranger. Interesting pick on Corrupted Keep. You don't see Ranger that often on here. His orb doesn't give you that much mobility compared to some other maps. And it will be BJ and Keel. Are we going to see a full mirror pick, or is Raisy going to surprise? Keep in mind he cannot pick Clutch nor Galena.
Galena being removed, I think, has massively influenced some of the picks here, and I feel like he's thinking about it. And yeah, there's the Death Knight. It was a hard choice between a couple. I assume maybe the choice might have been there between Ranger or Death Knight, and he had to just choose which one he preferred. He doesn't use Keel all the time. He's mentioned that he feels like Keel often can struggle depending on some of the lineups, but he himself has done some incredible things with Keel in these short-range maps. Rafa did a wonderful job earlier today of showing us a thing or two about Keel behind the wheel. But the big thing here is just that's a lot of damage. That is a lot of damage coming out, and without Galena, you're not going to have the sustainability that you otherwise would have as well. The difference when these guys fought last time was Cypher so nearly pulled off an incredible comeback, but a big champion that allowed that to happen was Strog and Pika. With Strog being not picked here, we can expect some different things, that's for sure. But this is our second grand finals of the day. Cypher versus Raisy. Only one of these players is making it to tomorrow's playoffs, and the first blood immediately goes into the hands of Raisy, and that's a phenomenal start for him.
Yeah, Raisy just had the stack advantage right there, starting off as Keel as opposed to Cypher's BJ, and he didn't quite have the weapons to make anything happen with the dual wield. Raisy looking super stacked right now. Both of the major items are going to be up at around the same time. Good amount of long-range damage with the heavy machine gun. The heavy machine gun really replaces the railgun for a lot of purposes on this map, since it is such a way of getting consistent long-range damage out.
And now we're going back to that slow game where, because Raisy was able to get that early frag and he got it in the LG room, he kind of holds course over Mega and LG, which is something that Cypher really needs. Look at his weapons, he hasn't got it. He's just about to try and collect it, but as you can see, Raisy's already sort of beat him to the punch. The #1 objective is to keep him long away, but the regular base SMG is doing more than enough damage to sort of poke at him from distance. Raisy chasing this one down. Is Cypher in danger of dropping? He will indeed. Some wonderful sniping with that heavy machine gun. And he's losing 2 champions already. He's got Ranger left, but with the stack that Keel's looking at, he's got to pray for a telefrag or something.
This is very difficult to get back into for Raisy, because not only, or for Cypher rather, because not only did he give up a frag, but he also gave up the heavy that went to Raisy, who is looking so stacked right now. And Cypher at this point doesn't have all the weapons that he would like. Raisy positioning himself over up on the Mega Health with that rocket jump. That's so risky, exposing himself to way too much LG damage. And Cypher 16 points of health left, but he does get himself his first frag of the matchup.
I mean, you'll never see a Doomslayer double jump versus an LG user, least of all someone rocket jumping right in front of Cypher with an LG. But, on the spur of the moment, Raisy must have thought it would have been a good idea to get that increased elevation, maybe try and hit a better angle. He nearly won the 1v1, but you would have thought immediately that's suicide doing that against Cypher. But he has got some champions to play with. Now he's got BJ, the dual wield's going to be available. He's had more than enough time to collect the LG as well, which is that glory weapon. He has all he needs.
And when the timing is right, those rocket jumps can really work, because when Cypher is up there, LG is a wrong or a poor weapon choice for him. He's much more likely to go for rockets. So if your opponent who has the top positioning on you switches to rockets, and you can surprise him with a rocket jump up into his face, then you can do so much with an opportunity like that. Raisy trying to chase down Cypher right now. Both players have got their ability up. Raisy kind of stuck in the LG room right there, but Cypher has to let up as he moves back away towards the heavy side of the map. Raisy got some solid control right now.
And control's going to be the magic word. He's not going to be interested in pushing a fight unless he knows he can take it comfortably.
Oh,
kind of like right now when he ambushes him by the heavy. That was a really, really excellent use of the dire roll, but as you can see here, Raisy's actually still in chase, even after all of the stack that Cypher was able to try and rebuild back up. And very, very smart use, actually, making sure he left some of the hourglasses back up so he has the dire orb. And one of the only ways I think he would have survived that exchange. That was perfectly played from Cypher, who now has the dire orb ready to go again. And he's completely undid all the damage that Raisy did.
Yeah, he used it to get onto the mega health. I don't know if that ends up being the right choice, since now he's around 15 seconds without that orb. Gotta comment back on what happened earlier though, but Cypher really is one of those players who knows the orb extremely well. He was one of the first that I saw use it defensively against Clutch. Good rockets coming out of Raisy right there. Bit of a stalemate right now, and this is definitely in Raisy's favor, since he is one champion up and there's a little over a minute to go.
Yeah, it's something he's more than happy to enforce here. He's been, well, I say he's been very rarely in harm's way. At the moment I say that, he has done it, but using the dual wheel just try and force him away, but it's not going to work. Cypher will not be afraid. He knows he has to make something happen. And even though there was a dual wield in his face, he doesn't care. The 1 minute warning takes place now, but it does not matter. Tries to ambush him with the flame strike, but the right place, right time, and a perfect stream of LG. Cypher turns it around.
Yep, first round will be going to Cypher. Very aggressive play at the end there, and I mean, he had to force a fight. He was one champion down, and we know that Raisy has no issues whatsoever with running down the clock. He did that against Cooler earlier. 4 minutes running away with Clutch, and it worked perfectly. Cypher this time didn't let him do it though. Cypher right now pushing in with the LG. He knows that his opponent doesn't have that weapon just yet. Raisy does want to get his hands on that as soon as possible though.
Yeah, Cypher's did a good job of bullying him away too, really forcing him into the nail gun room, which can be pretty unfavourable at the very beginning, especially when you're not really stacked up, you haven't got a lot of weapons. And look how many grenades Cypher has locked. That's a significant amount. And it is one of the few abilities that can really sort of contest with the dual wield if you land every grenade, which unfortunately Cypher was not able to do. Forced away, giving him the mega. Probably going to be a heavy as well. Raisy can now take a fight if he wishes.
Oh, bit of a fluke of the movement right there. That's a bit of a shame for Raisy. Also interesting to see that Raisy didn't start this round off with a kill. I think that was probably his best champion in the previous round, yet this time he is leading off with the BJ. Ooh. That's a lot of damage. That's close to 100 damage right there. 15 damage a pop. That adds up oh so quickly. And now Raisy pushing in aggressively, trying to get a good position onto the heavy armor, and he will be able to secure that item for himself.
And that's especially why the heavy machine gun is such an important weapon to learn how to use. I know people were like, you can't really snipe on this map because there's no rail. Well, the heavy machine gun can do the exact same thing.
Oh yeah.
In a very short space of time, we got basically railgun damage just because Cypher's accuracy is off the chain, but I don't want to say there's a fight here because there really isn't. It's just more a matter of trying to disengage. Raisy wants to keep his stack, and he's saving that dual wield for a rainy day. Yeah. He really is. This has been a very methodical second round, and it kind of comes back to two players that were known for playing Quake Champions hyper aggressively, especially Raisy. And over the course of the years, he's been really starting to slow his pace down. This is not the same Raisy that we saw last year during the QWC.
Definitely not. Oh, that's a good opening rocket. This is opportunity. He's gonna push in. Cypher will go down right there. Raisy was waiting oh so patiently for a right opportunity. He was waiting for an opening, for the right time to take a fight. And it happened right there. That 86 damage opening rocket gave him every shot that he could need. And he might even get the second one too. And indeed, Cypher goes down. Raisy 2 frags up. Very slow first minute and a half, but then things escalated very quickly.
I think Cypher could have been a bit more confident taking that fight because he knew that the dual wield was down. That was the one benefit of Keel having so many grenades locked, was that Raisy was really forced to use the dual wield, even just to, you know, cement that final kill. Because the grenades is a risk. Whenever you're facing off against the Pineapples, that's a big risk to take, but he has been able to get it back now. Yeah, popping it a little bit prematurely. I think it doesn't really exist to frag. It exists to maybe try and get the mega, but is it going to benefit him anyway? That's a lot of damage, and Cypher understandably is not wanting to fight this at all. He wants to disengage, restack back up, and somewhat of a lifeline, to be honest, that Raisy was confident to just try and disengage that fight.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Raisy was barely in better shape than Cypher at the end of that fight, so good choice from both of these players to disengage. That was an opening win from Raisy, and Cypher pushes in! 17 points of health, and he goes for the orb!
And the only reason he didn't kill himself there was because of Ranger's passive, where he does less self-damage. That was such an amazing understanding of how much health he had left versus how much he could take in that 1v1. He's probably going to die now because he's really weak. And again, he's been forced away. Raisy's going to chase it down and... What?
Cypher!
What?
What is he doing?
How does Cypher... I don't even know how that happened.
Oh, are we going to get the third and the final one? The flames are stacking up. Yeah, the shotgun with the flames will give it to Raisy in the end, but damn, Cypher! That's exactly what I was talking about when at the start of this game I was saying Cypher can just make these plays happen. He can pull magic out of his head and out of nowhere do so much damage and completely surprise his opponent.
I mean, I completely understand why Raisy chased that down banana. Like, I completely get it, because he had such a stack advantage there. And the only need was a little bit more LG, but it was a combination of really wonderful accuracy from Cypher and excellent dodging too. Using the bottom of that staircase to just be a block and then surprises him with the Dire Orb. And that was the only surprise he needed. A really clutch play, and that's what Cypher always has been, like a playmaker. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough to win the round.
No, not quite, but he did win it on style points. Here we go, this is now the third round of this match. That damage! Oh my god, Cypher is gonna have to retreat. Out comes the dual nails! And the machine gun will be enough to wrap it up. Raisy gets himself mega and heavy for his troubles too. He's got full control right now as Cypher is still trying to get his hands on some of those power weapons.
It just feels to me like Raisy hasn't missed a heavy machine gun shot yet. It feels like every time he's holding that left click, it's just nailing it over and over. And
worth pointing out though, Raisy still doesn't have LG yet. I don't know if Cypher is aware of this. I think he isn't. Oh, in comes the dual LG. Rockets versus Lightning Gun. This range definitely favors the LG, but still, Cypher managing to put a lot of damage downrange. And
Cypher not trying to dedicate to the fight, even though Raisy had what was 2 HP. I can only assume he actually didn't know just how weak he was, and that's guaranteed death. Caught in a bad spot. He maybe needed one more rocket, but Cypher did not grant him the time. That was very, very good LG, causing him now to force into his keel. And that's the optimization, actually. Do the self-damage so that you can pick up the 2 health bubbles and then passively regenerate to the next 100. I like that knowledge. Yeah, clever place. You want to deny your opponent any possible resource. Raisy will not need much denying with that enormous stack that he's got going for himself right now. But Cypher doing the damage. God. 40 HP left. That rocket! The read. Perfect. Raisy walks right into it. Cypher just looked into a crystal ball before shooting that rocket. He must have done. That was like a year early. And he still walked into it. Perfect knowledge right there. Yeah, absolutely. And now Cypher knows that he has got to play passively for a little while. He doesn't have his ability and he's up against the Death Knight. If he gets caught out in the wrong place right now, those flames will melt him. Good rocket, 100 damage, direct rocket. That might make Raisy think twice. Not quite though, he just pushes in aggressively, knows he's got the stack and the aim to deal with it. And there we go, 2-2, both players down to their final champion. Not an amazing spawn to get caught on purely because of its plasma rifle versus, you know, rocket at that range. I would kind of favor plasma, and Raisy unfortunately committing suicide. Forced into a position where he kind of had to pull the trigger on something and hope that he wasn't close enough, but not his choice to make. Cypher looking really strong and making them fight for it. He really needs to start this map. If he wins this map, we're going to essentially undo the 1 map advantage that Raisy is sitting on, and we go into a traditional best of 3. Yeah, this is such an important map, because if he loses this one, then Raisy's already on match point. And all Cypher what Cypher needs to do is 3 rounds in a row, and there we go. Good opening from Cypher, the dual nail gun, as we discussed earlier, oh so powerful on LAN in particular. So many players always say when they play on a LAN client that the nails just feel so good. I can agree too. It's a next level of satisfaction that I think such few players have had the joy of experiencing. But here comes another 1v1, taking a fight he can't win. Raisy putting in a lot of confidence there, but challenging Cypher's LG is always risky business. Yeah, and here we go. Is this surely? Oh, what? Alright, trampoline, boys. Yeah, Raisy just walked underneath of Cypher, but can he get out one more time? No, he cannot. Cypher tying it up 1-1. So officially, the map advantage that Raisy was sitting on has been undone. You can sort of rest easy a little bit, and because of the map that was lost, it's an interesting thing here that actually this was Cypher's map pick. Yeah. He still wanted to go back, despite how things went last time they faced. The big adaptation here was the champion change. He wasn't going in with the Strog anymore. He's got a little bit more fundamental damage on the table and playing a lot slower, I think, as well. Not being as super high aggressive, walking into a couple of open death situations like he did earlier in this tournament. Now that does mean that map 2 should have been Awoken, but technically Raisy's already won that, so Awoken is out of there. Pick 3, Blood Covenant.
Blood Covenant, indeed. This is a much, much larger map than the one we just saw. It also has a railgun, which is a weapon that Corrupted Keep, of course, infamously lacks. Definitely going to swap things up a little bit. This is going to be interesting to see. Blood Covenant, typically a much slower map, I would say, than Corrupted Keep. Players have a lot more time to think, a lot more time to position themselves and set up these traps or plays. It's going to be interesting to see which one of these is going to get the upper hand.
The thing about this map was, if memory serves me correctly, this was the map that off-stream Cypher played versus Cooler. And it was the map that Cooler had obtained 2 rounds, and then Cypher reversed 3-0'd it in the map itself. We've always seen Cypher play pretty damn well on Blood Covenant. It is one of his stronger maps, I believe, hence it's his pick. But I don't know if it's still the case, but I remember a long time ago talking to Raisy actually about Blood Covenant, and he remarked that it is a map that he's not really a huge fan of in Duel. Now, this was a long time ago. This was about a year ago, and opinions can change in that time, but going by what I've been told by both of these players, this should be a map that actually favors Cypher. Now, he's gone in for Visor, both players going in for Visor. This is Blood Covenant. You'd be mad if he didn't pick Visor on this map, especially seeing as he is in the rotation, has not been banned out. But again, no Galena means we pretty much have the exact same lineup, I feel. It's just simply that Visor has replaced Galena here.
Yeah, pretty much. It's interesting to finally get to see a Visor. We haven't seen much of him at all, despite how much of a popular champion he still is these days, so this is going to be interesting. That extra set of eyes, that temporary wall hack can give you so much information.
Especially on Blood Covenant.
Yeah.
It almost feels like Visor was created for this map. You know the launch trailer for this game? I think there's a reason Visor's the guy that wins at the end of that trailer. He's on Blood Covenant, mate. Of course he will.
It also favors his movement a lot, because Visor has the closest movement to the old Quake 3, Quake Live champions. He's got a lot of acceleration, more so than many of the other champions. And on these long, straight areas of the map, what was that?
I think they both had a similar start in mind, and both teleported to their Dire Orb and just swapped positions.
Yeah, pretty much. They just they both went for the same thing, had an orb ready to back up if need be, and they did just that. Cypher, 1 rail, 2 rails.
Now there's a reason he swapped to the shotgun, but the train is actually blocking off significant shots. And how did that trade? He just needed to get 1 shotgun blast, but Raisy just using the staircase. That was I think one of the most surprising trades I've ever seen.
Yeah, Cypher's gonna be kicking himself after this one for not picking the starting machine gun off spawn right there, because that would have definitely gotten him the frag right there. Instead, this time around, he had to like switch to the starting shotgun, which is just not the right weapon for that distance.
Gotta pray to the spread gods when you're far away, and unfortunately that staircase blocked pretty much everything.
Yeah. And well, now both players have switched to their BJ. We're gonna see another confrontation over at Bridge. Heavy will be up in 10 seconds. Mega gonna be spawning first, though. There's a nice delay between the two of them, but it doesn't look as if Cypher's interested in contending just yet.
Now the rails are what we're going to be paying a lot of attention to. Cypher's rails, especially on Blood Covenant. It's stuff of legend. It really is.
Yeah, I would
in this first round, he's landed like 6 rails in a row already.
Yeah, I would love to see Cypher's railgun accuracy at this point. I think it's pretty close to 100%. Raisy not doing quite as well with the weapon, but still making it work. It's still both players. 1 champion down, we might see another one. The screams are coming out. Of course, the BJ, 4 HP.
Again, biting off a little bit more than he can chew. So confident he can take the fight, and with 4 health remaining, I'm not surprised in that. Yeah, definitely could have been a refrag. Oh, watch out.
Yeah, that was close. I mean, Cypher at first, when he was still going to the Mega, he almost got railed too. Raisy was so fast picking up the railgun and taking that shot at him, but it didn't quite connect.
But with looking at Cypher's movement, there wasn't a lot of haste to his movement there when the rail missed. I don't think he was actually prepared for Raisy to have that angle on him so early.
Yeah, no.
You had to, I think you must have factored in, he's going to spawn here, close enough to rail, and then close enough to get an angle. And that's a lot of foresight that you probably wouldn't have had.
Yeah, it definitely shows just how good these players are. Good rocket bouncing Raisy back into the room. He's got to play it carefully now, but there comes Cypher is going to back around and go for the Mega Health instead. 3 HP left on Raisy after that railgun shot.
That face when you piercing sight, but it's you that gets railed.
Yeah. Cypher doesn't know where Raisy is. He's right below him. If he drops down, this should be a very easy frag for him.
Especially if he lands an opening rail.
Yeah. Won't happen though. Cypher instead backs away into the Pillars room. No immediate angles on Raisy.
Definitely going to play the slow game here. They're going to play the pickup game, I feel. Cypher's probably going to want to take this Mega and then My assumption is that his next play is to go for heavy to see if that's where Raisy tries to make his play, but at this point he's already picked it up, so... The guess is that Cypher has now assumed that Raisy, if he's been gone this long, surely he must have picked up heavy and restacked along the way.
Yeah, Raisy restacked brilliantly right there. From how little HP he had left, he just played it calm, stayed collected, stuck to that bottom area to get himself some resources, health bubbles, small armors, up until he was back up to 100, and then he made a move for heavy and got away with it cleanly too.
Well, it was a long exchange there, but Raisy did temporarily give his position away by that missed rail. Yeah, the second Cypher even feels like he's stuck a foot out of line, he's getting out of there. Do not give him a single rail. And the defensive slow game is clearly the objective here for Cypher. He has the champion advantage. He's got to survive for 1 minute 15. Easier said than done, I'm well aware. But if he can just live long enough and not lose that BJ, he's going to win this round on champion advantage.
Oh, this could be so dangerous. Raisy just waiting it out. This is what Cypher has to be careful for, because Raisy is such a trapping player. He sets those traps and he springs them at the perfect time, and he's just playing so confidently. Look at that, 100 damage rocket out of nowhere. Cypher had no clue that his opponent was waiting down there, and that's, I think, what he has to be careful for, because if he gets caught out in the wrong place, that's gonna bite.
And as he's near heavy, I don't blame him for both not picking up the nail gun and walking. My man wants to make no noise.
Yeah, going back up the bounce pad. Of course, Cypher knows that Raisy is on the visor. He's got that sight ready, and that it makes a player paranoid, because you never quite know when your opponent is looking at you. Out come the dual LG. Raisy missing a crucial rail, and that's gonna buy Cypher some more time. Raisy cannot contest just yet. He's gonna back up to Mega. Cypher will take heavy. 15 seconds to go. Raisy gotta make something happen right now.
He's running into it, but ooh, 2 rockets just to force him away for a bit longer. And after that rail land, I don't see him winning. Surely not. Surely there's no way. Oh, there it is.
there it is.
He had no choice but to press, right? That's got to be one of the easier rails to land, because Cypher knows that Raisy, if he's going to win this round at all, he has to push in now, which makes your position super, super obvious. And this is definitely what looks like a different Cypher than we saw against Raisy. Like, he's just making really smart decisions back to back. He's not overextending. He's not making any mistakes. If you had told me that from what we're seeing right now, that Cypher has lost the last 3 times these guys have played, it would be hard to believe it.
Yeah, absolutely. Cypher might have started to finally find the key to Raisy's playstyle, because it's so difficult for a lot of players to deal with. Raisy can go so aggressive, but also has no problems playing it slowly. Raisy hitting the pillar indeed right there. That's not gonna hurt your opponent one bit. He's just spamming rails away.
I'm pretty sure that first shot was on target as well. The pillar was just right in the way as he was mid-strafe.
It always shows up at the worst possible time. Cypher doing a decent amount of damage right there with the heavy machine gun, and even gets himself on Mega. Is he gonna rush in for heavy? Doesn't quite seem like it. And that one will be going to Raisy. Now, top control currently in the hands of Cypher, and on this map that is so important. And here again we see Raisy slowing it down, just waiting a few seconds and then taking that rocket shot, hoping that Cypher will be going for the railgun at that time. Oh my god!
No fear, and great knowledge from Cypher. Even if that rail connects, he knows that the downtime and the cooldown is going to be activated. He's going to get free damage that Raisy cannot dispute. Tries to go in for the big die roll play just to steal it away, but it's not going to work out. Cypher with 2 frags. Clean deliverance right there. And now he's got top control again, which is so dangerous to fight. Ranger having top control is scary, because at any moment when he jumps down, he can just die roll and be back up top. Like, you're not really losing anything by jumping down there.
This is scary for Raisy, but he does land the rail that is gonna force Cypher back. If he had missed that shot, I think it would have been over at this point. But indeed, he will stay alive a little bit longer.
Oh!
Good tri-bolt.
Good snipe on the tri-bolt. That galactic tri-bolt from a million miles away, and feels like he misses die roll. That was so sick. That rocket jump to change his arc. Really, really just genius level play there, making that rail so much harder to predict. Looks like he's probably going to go down anyway, but he gets 1 rocket. The trade benefits him massively.
Wow. Raisy on the downfall. Cypher connects by hitting the rocket on the wall just behind him. And indeed, that rocket jump, oh so sick from Cypher, because if he hadn't pushed himself away in a different trajectory, he would have been a sitting duck going up the bounce pad for Raisy. But right now, Cypher set to take 2 maps in a row against his rival, who has beaten him in 3 previous encounters.
Yeah, in hindsight, that rocket dodge was so sick, I feel ill right now. I mean, the fact that it just kept him alive, that would have been a free rail otherwise, and it's just this next level play. And again, it's the fact that Ranger takes less damage from rocket jumps anyway, so why wouldn't you go for those kind of dodges?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This is why Cypher, even though he's had an inconsistent time in Quake Champions, he is still, even without major success, considered one of the best players in the world, because he just has this next level execution.
Yeah, he's got that talent. He's such a raw, talented player, and he can make those things happen. He just pulls these plays out of his magic head. Is he going to push for it? Raisy will go for it, taking a rocket for his troubles, but landing a rail in return. Pretty clean trade, a small advantage right now for Raisy, especially if he manages to pick himself up that heavy as well.
Maintaining a stack and getting control, it feels like this is one of the first times Raisy's actually had control in this map. It's pretty much been the Cypher show for 2 rounds straight. Now is he going to... No need to Dire Orb, but just in case he stayed there, I guess he was keeping that as like an insurance policy. Oh my god!
That's gonna... Did you see those damage numbers? 100, 100 and something else. That was insane. Cypher.
I saw Raisy winning the round and now I see him not. That's all I got to say about that one. Alright, the dual wield is good. It's been popped, forced early, but that's still a success for Cypher. The fact that he was behind so significantly, and that's the comeback potential of Rager. Rest in peace, Dire Orb. We'll miss you.
Yeah, and
some won't.
Cypher now knows that his opponent is without that dual wield for another 30 seconds. He's gonna be looking for an opening to do some damage. In comes one rail, and switching to the machine gun, but 2 HP left.
Oh, no.
He cannot even peek anymore. Oh. Yeah, Cypher will finish him off. And that is Cypher on map point. One more frag will do it for him.
Now he knows a visor is next, and there's the piercing sight rail used. Like, that was such a premature rail that Cypher is going to have so much knowledge that it's going to be down. There's no way that wasn't piercing sight.
Yeah. Raisy winning the exchange or the trade on the rails, rather, coming out on top of that one. Inventive rocket jump, and he's gonna catch Cypher, but no damage will be done twice. Both of those rockets just missed at such close range. He's gonna be regretting that. Cypher picking up mega health, but being punished badly too. He cannot stick around, he doesn't have any armor, and his opponent definitely does.
Those defensive rails were almost so good, and if even one of them connected, Cypher may have been able to turn the tide, but Raisy now, he's about to collect this heavy, vital moment for him to take this round, because if he's going to lose 3 rounds straight, I would fear his chances in future maps. This has been such an insane turnaround for Cypher, who has struggled. I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but he has been struggling so much against Raisy historically in LANs recently.
Yeah. Yeah, this could be it. This could be Cypher's revenge. He has got to escape damage now. What?
Well.
How?
Raisy.
Raisy came into that fight with such an advantage. He had the positional advantage. He had the stack advantage, and Cypher just turned around and said, "No, it ends here. This is my map. Get out."
But that's what they always say, right? When you feel like you have an advantage, you've always got to factor in the accuracy of the player, their aiming ability. And if it's Cypher with an LG and dual wield, it doesn't matter if you got full stack, overstacked health, overstacked armor, you still got to show so much respect. Because when Cypher is down, he is one of the best Quake players of all time for a reason.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And his aim is right up there with the very best. People very often cite the likes of Tox and Claws as the best aimers on the scene, but you can definitely not discount someone like Cypher, who is also notorious for his aim skills.
Now here comes the next progression in this series. Our next map is going to be Veil of Nath. Now Veil of Nath has only been picked by 2 players today, Rafa and Raisy. Now with this in mind, I am curious as to whether Cypher is ready for this, because he looked significantly more uncomfortable on this map against Raisy earlier today. But that said, he lost to Corrupted Keep earlier today as well, and he won it in the run back just now. Yep. So he's not had a lot of time to prepare and adapt, but this is going to be an impressive map to take if he's going to technically 3-0 this.
Yeah.
Like, I know he's been awarded a map advantage, but 3-0 is a 3-0.
Definitely, and I think he's especially got to be careful for the kill. I think that's pretty much guaranteed to be picked by Raisy on this map. It's one of his favorite champions, and this is arguably the best map for it too. So Cypher's got to find a way to deal with those grenades.
This would be an incredible result for Cypher. If he makes it out of this group and joins Kilson, Claws, and Rafa, that's a Legends bracket if I've ever seen one, and a great way for Cypher to pick himself back up off a very rough 2018.
Yeah, and
he's so close to it now.
It will be Ranger, BJ, and Keel mirror picks on both players. Very quick picks too. There was absolutely no delays, not even a second of waiting. It was just pick, done. the players, they both know what their strengths are, they know what their weaknesses are, and they know what they want to play and how they want to play it on what might be the final map of the day.
Well, here we go, guys. This could be our final map, the Vale of Nath, Cypher versus Raisy. If Cypher gets this run back, it will be a legendary comeback. The fact these guys have played 4 times in the space of a month in a LAN environment, and Cypher has lost 3 times. If he gets the win now, that is one way to turn it around and finally get a little bit of a reassurance back under your belt.
Yep, this might be the moment of redemption for the Belarusian player as he gets himself all the weapons that he needs on the map. It will be Keel versus BJ to start things off. Cypher getting top control, so important on a map like Vale with a lot of verticality to it. And he's trying to set up a little bit of a trap, trying to wait Raisy out.
I know these guys have some fans on both sides, so for the last time, folks watching the stream, no matter what it's on, I want to get some predictions. Give me a 1 for Cypher, give me a 2 for Raisy. I want to see those predictions, guys. Here comes the first fight. Caught swapping the weapon at the wrong time, and Raisy picks that one up easily.
I definitely don't think that drop was intended. I think he may have accidentally fallen off, being aided a bit by Raisy's damage.
Oopsie daisy.
Yeah, oopsie daisy indeed, and that is Raisy taking the first frag of what might be the final map. And right now it's BJ versus BJ, but Cypher does have an advantage. He has his ability ready, and Raisy will soon too, so no longer is that advantage at play.
They're going to be trading the dual wield right now anyway, trying to go for those rapid fire rails. Raisy very bravely giving himself that to Cypher. Just dropping at the magic time. That was such a good super shotgun blast as well. Just that wasn't really reactionary. That was just, if he's there, I'm going to left click, and if he's there, so be it. He was on the money. Excellent read.
Yeah, that was beautiful play by Cypher right there, because he knew, or by Raisy rather, because he knew that Cypher was waiting at the teleporter, and if Raisy had dropped down, Cypher would have gone through the teleporter to get to the bottom level, but Raisy just dropped straight down and just did like a fly-by shotgun. So even if Cypher had lived and gone through a teleporter, he would have been face-to-face with Raisy again at that bottom level. And now Raisy already 2 frags up in under 2 minutes, but he gets knocked down from Heavy, and this will be Cypher's opportunity.
Really kind of using his health and armor as currency there to try and secure the Heavy. The worst case scenario for Cypher would have been allowing Raisy to pick it up. Looking to be a pretty rough round so far, but we can't count out the kid from Belarus, as he almost has his Dire Orb available, but he's taking so much damage, and that rail was just out of nowhere. That
was a nasty flick indeed, and it will bring Cypher right back into the game. He is up against Raisy's Keel right now, though he's got to be very careful. He's going to use the orb. Oh my god, the damage! And Heavy picked up as well, but now he's down to 31 points of health. There's not much he can do, and Raisy! What a read by Raisy! I
feel like the last thing Cypher was expecting was that teleport entrance.
Yeah,
he was covering every base apart from his backside, and then wham! There comes a Raisy in the Keel. Hello. Amazing play by Raisy. He knew that Cypher was low, and he probably expected Cypher not to read him going through the teleporter once again. I mean, that's a risk, right? Yeah. After how much damage he just took, Cypher must have been... It's suicide for him to go. There's no way. But Raisy was, I know that you know that I know. Yeah, here I am. Raisy found a way, that's definitely true. Oh, what a flick rail again. Cypher is just landing these incredible shots time and time again. Raisy might be getting a little bit frustrated over those. Nail gun damage not looking half bad either. Raisy taking the jump always makes me clench when you see a player soar over that void. we do see, even in professional play, if you mistime that jump, you are out there. Yeah, we've seen it several times actually, especially with the likes of Doomslayer. Cypher taking a little bit of damage right there. This is Raisy's play. Got a better positioning, he's got the LG too. Yeah, Cypher, very few weapons available to him at that point. Didn't have rockets, didn't have LG, and that was the deciding factor in Raisy getting that frag, and he might find another one right here. Cypher, can he get back out? He doesn't need to, he's just gonna stick it out. Is he gonna try and follow through? Oh my god! That was just a quick little turnaround right there. I don't doubt Cypher for going in. I mean, he understands that Raisy's super weak, but Raisy's gonna know that too. Yeah. Immediate Dire Orb, just try and get out of dodge, but Raisy has a really impressive stack, can still tank 2 rails. So even though he's weak, and the read again! That's not the first time he's doubled back and caught Cypher off guard. Cypher, at this point, probably not sure what angle Raisy's going to hit, because this guy has no fear right now. Yeah, and Cypher really is going to start, taking account of those double backs, because Raisy's been using them so effectively, and very often Cypher just wasn't ready for it at all. You know the one time Raisy, Cypher's going to read the double back? Raisy's not going to do it. Like the one time he guesses it.
Yeah, this at this point is looking very, very grim for Cypher. He's got almost no health to his name, 10 points of health, no armor whatsoever. In meantime, Raisy, fully stacked. One more tickle of LG will... Oh! That rail! Cypher, so ballsy, but no luck.
I mean, that's why I don't think Raisy, even though that was a pretty smart rail to just catch him off guard temporarily, doesn't really care because his stack was insane. So he's going to follow through anyway. If he teleports there, he's dead because I'm just going to dual wield and melt him. But that is 2 rounds consecutively, and this was kind of what I was worried about. You know, I feel like the chance of Cypher just kind of like unlocking his brain and figuring out how to play Raisy on Veil in the space of like, you know, an hour or so, it's a pretty tall order. And it really looks like, as this has been Raisy's pick consistently, he's a lot more prepared for this map too.
Yeah, it's definitely shaping up to be Blood Run as a decider today. But hey, let's not count Cypher out just yet.
He could still pull off this guy. As long as the map is active, a comeback is possible. But
absolutely. Cypher is on his keel at this point, and just look at that stack, 150, 150. Even though Raisy's got his base stack, Cypher is just dwarfing him right now. Both players eyeing that heavy. Good play by Raisy. Quick drop, quick rail. Getting out of there just as fast as he came down.
Again, almost felt like one of those insurance policy rails, but Raisy teleporting directly into a grenade, but it does not matter, even though it almost didn't work out for him. The wonderful accuracy on the dual wheel, just going to see to that.
Yeah, 11 points of health left for Raisy. That was so close. Cypher not gonna be too happy about that one, and this is looking extremely good for Raisy, because even if he dies now, he still has so many champions to fall back on. In comes Cypher with the dual wheel, determined to tie it up, and indeed he will do just that.
Definitely one of those confident, premature dual wields popped. If he has even an inkling he's there, if he can hear him, he's going to pop it, ambush, and dedicate 100%. Cypher needs to make some plays. He needs to bully Raisy off some of the control that he's established pretty much the entire map.
Smart play from Cypher not to go over the bounce, but he was eyeing it for a second, that's for sure, but decided against going up it. Probably saved his life. He's got to be careful right now because Raisy's got an enormous stack and he's got all of those grenades ready. That's a lot of combined damage if several of those connect. Raisy again going down the teleporter once more.
Big thing about the Veil, as always. Oh, somehow misses the machine gun spray. That's really unfortunate because he's now going to be able to pick up the Mega and undo, but we're talking about the grenades and their prominence on a map as small as this, and the corridors as thin as they are. It's so unlikely that a top-level player is going to miss some of the grenades.
Yeah.
So Cypher has to try super hard to avoid these circumstances, but going in for the defensive rails, both players miss, but this time it's unreturned, so Cypher has an opening to make something happen.
Yeah, Cypher
Can
actually,
Raisy restack?
Cypher actually coming out on top of that situation. Definitely wasn't expecting that at first, but he just hit the rails that Raisy couldn't. And that's bringing him back in this, but that weapon choice! Oh!
Was not the first time he got caught swapping weapons on this map as well. It's been a real problem for him that if he just had a rocket equipped, maybe he would have won it, but it was just not his time to select a weapon. Yeah,
if he had just about anything equipped right there, it would have been better. But Raisy caught him at just the right or wrong time, depending on how you look at it. And now Raisy is one frag away from closing out this map. Good opening rocket, and a rail too. Will he find the final one? In he goes.
Oh, he tries to go in for the shotgun, but he gives away his hitbox just a little bit too early. Cypher takes it with both hands. The danger now is that Raisy has just spawned. He's got an orb. He has more natural stack. Yes, Cypher has been able to undo some of the damage, but not out of dodge just yet. He needs this round to stay alive, but that one shotgun blast might be the beginning, and that rail was... Ugh.
That's just so nasty. Good. What is Cypher doing? We've seen like 4 or 5 shots like that coming out just this map alone. Raisy gets lifted into the air by that LG. Cypher knows that his opponent is so weak. He wants to get that final little bit of damage off. And Raisy, what is Raisy doing? Cypher has no clue where his opponent is. He will find him.
He didn't want to teleport to the die roll because he knew it was way too obvious. That was a bit of a strange exchange, but he'll take it regardless. Cypher staying alive for now. Let's not forget, technically, Cypher is on match point.
Yep, still.
He's on map point right here. So if he gets 2 rounds, he will be eliminating Raisy. Like, what is that? Is madness.
Yeah.
After the results we've had recently, but he can feel good about it. Deliberately wants to wait before taking the Mega. I think he's really trying to plan on delaying it a little bit.
Yeah, he put around 8 seconds of delay between the 2 major items. That's going to buy him quite a bit of time to move from one to the other if he can establish some control right now. It's always a risk though, because if you don't manage to do it, then you're basically giving your opponent the rotation that you were fighting for. Good opening damage from Cypher with that LG. And he's getting ready for that heavy.
A very deliberate wait there from Cypher, making sure he can safely rocket jump. And look at the control he's been able to establish. He's now in a great position to fight for this Mega, and if Raisy tries to take it, risky business.
Yep. Wonder if Cypher's gonna rocket jump. No, he will not be that aggressive. He's just gonna get himself the railgun at this point. But he heard that bounce pad, no doubt. He knows exactly where Raisy is. I wonder if he's gonna go and try and get some damage off of him now. If he goes through the teleporter, he will no doubt hear and see Raisy too. LG versus LG, dual wheels coming out on both sides.
Cypher has more stack. That's what Raisy's got to be worried about. Oh, and he gets knocked away! That was so clean! That was such a clean execution.
That's frag movie material right there. The bounce of the rocket, the rail to finish it off. Both players pretty weak, but Cypher definitely the lower one of the two, but Raisy dropping right onto that LG. Does get the frag.
Chases it down. Confident in his own stack. Confident in his own ability. Takes it cleanly, 2 down. Cypher down to his final keel. Unfortunately, has not really had the best of times with this champion on this map so far. And it's a tall order to expect him to just make a comeback here, especially when Raisy's hitting rails like that. It's going to get undone, and there it is. The Veil of Nath goes into the favor of Raisy. This is danger territory for Cypher, because the map advantage does mean that even though he's worked effortlessly, you know, really constantly to try and get these 2 maps, the natural advantage means that Raisy has now actually tied the knot.
Yeah, well, we're down to the final map, the tiebreaker. This is Blood Run, a map we have seen very little of today so far.
It's been banned all the time.
Yeah, it's been removed. I think just about. Have we seen a single game of Blood Run? Not one that I casted, but
I may have the world's worst memory, but I'm pretty sure we haven't.
I don't think so either.
I'm pretty sure we haven't.
And Blood Run is, of course, a very interesting map. It's got a lot of wide open spaces, long corridors, but also these very tight, winding corners, which also make champions such as Keel viable just the same. Definitely expecting to see some Rangers picked, because he is just so instrumental getting up to that heavy from the bottom.
There is the potential of maybe, just maybe, seeing some Doom as well. Double jump being a real blessing on Blood Run, but Cypher really right now has had to go the distance.
Yeah.
He lost to Raisy earlier, and you could tell he was disappointed with his result, but as he got knocked into that loser's bracket, eliminating Cooler 2-0, second place at PGL.
Yeah.
Cooler, and Cypher took him out 2-0. That in itself is a big achievement. And he has historically gone back and forth with Cooler and Quake champions, but today it's going to be his day, and he has so much work left if he wants to take out Raisy down to this final map. This will challenge even the best players in the world to be this late on in the tournament, and one map is a decider between going home and staying in for the big boy bracket tomorrow. Yeah,
it all comes down to this, Cypher or Raisy. Who will it be? Let's first find out what champions they're going to pick. As predicted, Cypher going for the Raisy, or Cypher going for the Raisy. No, Cypher going for Ranger and BJ and Keel. Are we going to get a mirror pick once again? Very quick decisions made by Cypher, and Raisy will indeed counter that just the same. Pretty predictable picks in light of what we've seen on the 2 maps before this.
It's interesting. They're sticking with their guns, and I think a lot of this might be comfort. A lot of the success that Cypher has been able to see in this series has come from the champion pick, so I don't think this late on in a tournament, it's very possible that they might not want to stray away from what they've been really comfortable with in the maps prior. You know, the second you introduce something new, you run the risk of giving up a round just to de-rust. This late on in a tournament, you can give up nothing. It's the final match of today, and it's going to be our last map, Cypher versus Raisy. Only one of these players is making it to tomorrow's playoffs, and whoever loses this map is out of the tournament for good.
Yeah, opening rail, solid right there from Cypher. It's immediately going to buy him a little bit of an advantage going into the rest of this map. Raisy now has top control. It's Ranger versus Ranger. This is such a mobile champion, which is so important on a map like this. You've got the tiny little grate above Mega that you can go through with the orb. You can go all the way up from Mega to Heavy in under a second. There's just so many ways you can use the orb effectively on this map, but that's a lot of tribal damage coming out right away. Raisy's got to be careful, but Cypher messes up the orb and takes a lot of damage in return.
It's not going to be the worst case scenario. That at the very least, when he failed the Heavy teleport, at the very least he can recover and collect the Mega, and that's going to be not really favourable for Cypher, because even though he hit that rail, it's the classic issue of even though you land the rail, you still can't shoot. You're on the cooldown, and you're a slave to it. Raisy punishes the downtime with an LG, and he is going to secure first blood in this next map.
Yeah, and rail, while it is of course an incredibly powerful and important weapon, the DPS is really not all that high when you compare it to an LG or a rocket at that close range, so Raisy definitely had the better weapon for that engagement, and now he is 1 frag up already.
And it's going to be so interesting seeing this approach because Raisy decided at the very beginning to ban away Galena. You would almost 100% of the time see someone pick Galena on this map because she shuts down the teleporters, she shuts down many of the pickups, and it's the sustainability that is hard to match sometimes.
I also really like the fact that if you put down a teleporter in the blood pool, the red on red makes it very difficult to actually see that there's a totem down there. And that can help out a lot. That's such a good rocket from Raisy. Cypher taking 100 damage right there, but he's even gonna drop down to secure himself mega. Ballsy play, but it will work out just fine.
It's how much experience these two players,
yeah,
players in general, need to have to hit those half prediction, half reaction rails where you just know someone's going to go down that corridor. You've got a split second to land the shot. Not an issue for these two players, especially in grand finals of a major tournament such as this.
Yeah, that's all about one, having amazing reflexes, which all of these players do, but also just practice, 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 knowing exactly how fast they're going to be moving and when you have to pull the trigger to land that shot. And Raisy still looking quite dominant. Cypher definitely not the one with the bigger stack at this point. And there we go, that's exactly what I was talking about earlier, that little great Raisy even denying the small armors by doing a little bit of self-damage, choking Cypher out of any resources he might be looking at.
It's a great play, because if you establish control, which Raisy has been able to do, speaking of which, he's definitely going to try and take this heavy. And he saves the orb, knowing that Cypher's going to go around the corner. Unfortunately, didn't get a massive amount of payout. Can he do damage here to undo the Mega? That's what I wonder. The rails do not connect either way. But the control remains in Raisy's favour. We have 2 minutes left, and he's shown us that he's not afraid to play the slow game. He's been doing it pretty much the entire time, with only 3 rounds being the decider between him going home and staying in this tournament for tomorrow's games. He'll take it any way it comes.
Yeah, and Blood Run is of course one of those maps that you can play so defensively. It's arguably the most defendable map when you've got a lead in the entirety of Quake Champions. You've got that top area with the armor, with the hourglasses, so many things you can do there, so many choke points and escape routes. It's perfect to just bunker down when you've got the lead, and Raisy is not afraid at all to rely on that to get himself any advantage that he might be able to get.
I mean, we've seen this defensive play before. I always actually remember the Italian Esports Open last year. It was Vu versus Cypher. It was the match that Vu played so defensively with Sorlag that he straight up apologized to the camera afterwards.
Yeah, he said,
and I'm like, my man, don't be sorry. Like, take the win, man.
Yeah, he said it in chat. He was like, sorry for playing that way, but
I loved it. When
there's money on the line, when the tension is high, you've got to do what you got to do to win. Excellent rail right there from Raisy with 50 seconds left on the clock. Cypher's got to come up with something quick.
You know, if Cypher's sitting there thinking, oh, not again.
Yeah, and then he takes some tri-bolts for his efforts too. Cypher, this is looking grim. The situation is dire. Is he even going to survive much longer? That's amazing!
What a mistake! What a mistake from Raisy, chasing it down, and he mustn't have factored in the fact that there was still a dual-wielded rail. He just got annihilated in the air there.
Yeah, that was a mistake by Raisy, but let's not undercut how much of a shot, or how much of an amazing shot that was by Cypher, because that's so difficult to hit. Using dual railgun is one of the most difficult things in Quake Champions, because it just throws off your rhythm that you've learned over years of playing so much.
That was so clutch.
Yeah.
That was one of the most clutch moments. Dare I say, the most clutch moment of the day. Shortly followed up by that Strog kill on Corrupted Keep. Like, Cypher's just bringing the heat right now, and he's brought himself the luxury of a sudden death, still in this tournament and still alive in round number 1. If Cypher actually somehow manages to win this round after it's been going so south for him for so long, what a turnaround this would be.
Yep.
Instant momentum change.
Yeah, Cypher took his time, waited until the moment was there, and he hit those 2 back-to-back rails to take down Raisy. And now we are in sudden death. This means, of course, that whoever dies next will surrender the first round of this map. Both players are on BJ right now, and looks like it's going to be a slow one. Raisy crouch walking towards some of those health bubbles. He is giving up the map to Cypher, who is able to secure himself both major items. Definitely outstacking Raisy right now.
This is definitely one of those classic Blood Run moments where neither player wants to overextend. We've seen some overtimes on this map go up to 10 minutes and over. It's always this map. It always seems to be on this map, doesn't it?
Yeah, as I said, this is such a defendable map. So many escape routes, so many of those choke points that you can shut players down.
Stopwatch.
And Cypher at this point is just running the map, but Raisy is so just comfortable with that 100-100 stack that he's got to his name. doesn't have to move, doesn't have to go anywhere. He's just waiting, biding his time, looking for that opening that will allow him to get some of those key items.
So the rail's not connecting either way, so we're going to maintain this passive level so far.
Yep.
And the fact that it's a BJ mirror, that makes it even worse. Because if either player gets completely surprised and... What on earth is... Oh, my. I have no idea what happened there. Sorry, guys.
No clue either, but Raisy was out of his little room for a while. Cypher had a bit of an opportunity there. Oh, in he goes, and Raisy!
Oh!
He hits the wall! He rocketed the wall, trying to get a flick one off on Cypher, doing quite a bit of self-damage and just not being able to retaliate quickly enough anymore. That will be Cypher taking round 1 after being on the back foot for pretty much the entirety of that round.
It's like I said, if he can get that last-minute turnaround, and that only happened because Raisy went... oh no, he bit off a bit more than he could chew, and he tries to go for the pummel kill. This is pretty much a bit of a train wreck for poor old Raisy right now. Oh my word, not a good spawn. Oh wait, the close range dual rail! How do you like it?
I mean, of course, just so that everyone knows, your spawn location is determined the moment that you die, not when you actually hit the respawn button. So, if you kill a person at a certain location, you can sometimes really expect and guess and read their spawn. That's exactly what Cypher did right there, knowing or expecting Raisy to spawn down below, but he couldn't capitalize off of it.
He had a good call, but it was just, you know, one clutch moment to another, really, wasn't it? Raisy had that on deck, and it's the fact that he can dual wield off the spawn what makes BJ so hard to approach. You know, even with the rail, you would think that would be such a hard thing to try and defend against, you know, because it's hard to hit that a close range rail anyway, let alone rapid fire. Yeah. Which is harder to aim to begin with because of just, like you said, right, it throws off the rhythm of your player. So, yeah, just impressive stuff all around, and it's now going to be one champion down each. Cypher does, of course, still hold the round advantage after a very hard-fought battle himself.
Yeah. Will get himself a railgun there too, definitely a weapon that he's been using very proficiently this map. Finally getting his hands on that one. Heavy is up, Raisy is gonna be able to get himself onto the item. And right now it looks like Raisy's got the better control of the two. And both are slowing the game down, both are just looking for their opponent, hoping for a trap, and it looks like it might be Raisy, but he's dropping down just a second too soon. Cypher, decent amount of damage right there.
Seems like he almost second-guessed himself. For the millisecond, Cypher comes running around the corner, but he hasn't been. Raisy's not been punished too hard because he's still sitting on a really impressive stack. It was unfortunate of him at the very beginning, kind of getting caught with his pants down, going for the wrong weapon.
That's such a good rocket that knocked Cypher right down, and it allows Raisy to get himself on the heavy and even retaliate with an unreturned rail. Beautiful plays by him. And right now it remains to be seen if Cypher can muster up the courage to challenge for this mega heavy. He will. But might not stick around for too long. Nope, Raisy will take him right back down, and this is Raisy. One more frag to go to clean up the round. BJ versus BJ, but Raisy doesn't have the ability. This is in Cypher's favor for at least another 30 seconds.
For sure, and I mean, he tried so hard to deny that mega. It cost him basically all of his grenades, and Raisy just kind of sitting pretty. I really like the patience from us. Like I said, it's an entirely different level of patience that we just weren't used to seeing from Raisy a long time ago, and that's why his climb has been so impressive as a player.
I think that Cypher's probably going to try and do the same thing he did before, just get himself that control, knowing that Raisy is going to switch to his passive playstyle, get himself mega, get himself heavy, and only when he has that stack is he going to really try and make something happen and push in on Raisy's position.
Well, we've gone back to that old school issue of two BJ players back to back. No one really wants to overextend because the threat of being ambushed by that dual wield is so great.
Yeah. Cypher will get both major items back to back. His enormous stack right now, and he is looking for Raisy. Slowing it down, just crouch walking, not to make any noise whatsoever.
I think one thing that's guaranteed is that Raisy is not going to make that same mistake twice.
Yeah.
He had the entire lead, and really threw it away with that one hasty decision to take the heavy at the wrong time.
Yeah, that ended up costing him big. But right now there's 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the clock, and Raisy is still a frag in the lead, and he's retaliating with those rails. Definitely sticking to his guns, and that's exactly what he needs to do. Do that chip damage and just keep Cypher back. Stop him from being able to push in and force him to really wait till the very last second and fight in an unfavorable position.
1 minute on the clock in round number 2, and I'm not surprised at all to see the two players slow things down the way they have with what's on the line. If anyone's just joined us, you can see on the top of the screen, this is our final map. Only one of these players can make it into tomorrow's games, and unfortunately the loser will be going home.
And Raisy turning himself into the Phantom of Bloodrun, disappearing completely, making himself invisible. The first sound, the first cue, the first tingling he feels of Cypher's presence, he just evacuates the area and relocates elsewhere. And with 25 seconds to go, I don't think Cypher has the slightest clue of where his opponent is at right now, but here we go, Cypher dropping down!
Wow.
Ouch.
And that's it. Cypher was almost put into a false sense of safety rhythm. You know, when you can sort of just cycle the map, run the circuit. He was like, well, if I'm not finding him, I'm just going to run around until I find him. And even though Raisy technically could have tried to run away from him, hearing him coming, he understood this is the perfect time to spring a trap. If I'm down the bottom and he jumps from the top, that's a guaranteed stream of just constant LG.
Yeah. And again, Cypher opens with the better rail shot. Raisy manages to recover pretty quickly, though. Doesn't have rockets or LG, and this could be bad for Cypher. He's got very little to defend himself with, has to back away to get himself some more of those important weapons. Raisy, on the other hand, has got everything that he needs. Both players very similarly stacked.
It does just feel to me like Raisy has had more of a bearing on this map so far. Speaking of which, gets caught in a bad position, but not so bad. He's unsurvivable. Cypher himself cannot take too much of that damage, so ran the risk of overstaying his welcome, I think.
Yeah, I still think that he wasn't expecting Raisy to fall down. I think Cypher, if he had stuck closer to the center of that big open area, he probably would have gotten away with the frag too, but he had backed enough, far enough, so that he was out, so that Raisy was out of his range and he couldn't pin him in the corner the way he wanted to.
Now Cypher, is he going to go in for the kill? No, he's not. He's going to use the Zyrob just to force Raisy far away, so he gets to guaranteed collect a heavy. Now with the Mega being spawned, that one Dire Orb may have actually awarded Cypher with complete control, which I think he's just about to obtain. Yeah, he has. Okay.
Yeah,
lifeline.
Yeah, Cypher definitely doesn't want to end up in the same situation he did on the two previous maps. He doesn't want to let Raisy get that first frag and put him on the back foot, having to chase for frags against the super defensive Raisy. So he just wants to get himself some frags. Quick, in comes the orb. He finds Raisy too. This should be a frag for Cypher, but he has the rockets out.
Wrong weapon, and the fact that the rocket just knocked Raisy into the heavy, doing Raisy's hard work for him. That was a very unfortunate turn of events. It felt like that should have been Cypher's kill 100%, but just did not want to swap away from that rocket launcher there.
Yeah, no, that clearly was a major mistake, and it will allow Raisy in that position that I think Cypher was just dreading from the start. Raisy, one frag up. 3 minutes left on the clock. That is, of course, a lot of time, but you know Raisy, you know that he can make it work, and he has no issues whatsoever slowing the game down to a crawl.
The thing Cypher's always going to be worried about is the fact that, realistically, the only reason he won that first round was because Raisy kind of made that crucial mistake towards Heavy. If he doesn't make those mistakes now, it's going to be harder, but Cypher very fortunately caught him in a really good position, and the reactionary dual wield is going to delete him for a bit, so we're back to an even playing field. But this general level of map control and slow play has benefited Raisy so much that as long as we are in this position and Cypher does not have a champion advantage, I'll always say that Raisy has the lead here, because he's the one designing the rails, he's the one doing the damage, and it is Cypher constantly having to play catch-up with Raisy here.
Yep. For the time being, that does seem to be true. Both major items take him at the same time. This is an opportunity for Cypher. But he gets pushed away and he takes a rail or two in the back. That's definitely not what he was hoping for, but Raisy coming out of bounds, but Cypher missing the easy rail. He's going to be regretting that shot for a while. And now Cypher is the one who has to play defensively. He's the one who's got to disappear and run away as fast as he can.
Going to be easier said than done against the likes of Raisy. Springs a trap, but minimal damage on the rocket in return, to be honest, and it's not going to stop him from taking the Mega. It's definitely not going to worry Raisy in any degree. And we're reaching that 1 minute and a half. I feel like this might go down to, again, maybe just one more champion, with how both these guys have been approaching and how no one wants to overextend, and they're trying to play so carefully around each pickup too that the chance of it just being a complete champion watch just feels impossible with how they're approaching it. Yeah.
Important to note is also that Cypher was the one who got the last heavy, but because he was so outstacked, it only put him up to that base stack of 100 armor. Didn't really get to do anything more with it, whereas Raisy is comfortably overstacked, but Cypher getting himself on the mega health. Raisy taking so much damage.
Oh my god.
Wow, Cypher looking good. He's chasing. He's got to look for Raisy, but does he find his opponent on time? not able to really shut it out right there. And with 50 seconds on the clock, I think we might as well be in overtime or sudden death right now.
I mean, with how much damage we just saw seized by Cypher, you're almost surprised that Raisy could recover, but it's how well he's managing the smaller pickups on the map that if there is a heavy to take, he's kind of making sure there are some health bubbles at the top as well, so we can kind of get in and out, passively regenerate to his next 25, pick up 2 health bubbles at the same time, and pretty much get back to 100, no matter how much damage he takes in the meantime.
Yep. Raisy playing the out-of-control game as if it was a playbook, perfectly waiting, doesn't even challenge for heavy, disappears off the map to get himself those small armors and get back to that 100-100 base stack, ready to perhaps contest for another major item soon. Cypher right now is just chaining them together, mega after heavy, and this is going to be difficult for Raisy to get back into.
Raisy's definitely, I think, content playing the health game. He's putting a lot of faith into his own accuracy and ability to essentially pretty much straight up surprise Cypher, you would think. Maybe his strategy here is going to be to try and catch Cypher in a bad position. Maybe try and get him into too much of a safe rhythm. But there we go. You know, one defensive rocket, because he knows that if Cypher gets too comfortable just rotating around the map, maybe he's going to run into something. He's going to spring the trap, but it doesn't work! Cypher survives with barely any health remaining. That could have gone either way, but this time, Cypher wins the fight, and he finds himself on his own tournament point right now.
That should have been Raisy's frag. He did the opening damage, he got the drop on Cypher, but then his LG, for that last half second, he hit nothing. He was just completely aiming to the wrong side of Cypher. And what an amount of opening damage. He could have even orbed in there, I think. But Cypher instead opting to play it a little bit safe for the time being, getting himself first weapons and then going in for the frag.
I am surprised that Raisy even peaked that. After he took all that LG damage, the fact he even just gave his model away to Cypher for a split second. If he telefragged up there, he would have died, 100%. The trap gets sprung again, but Raisy's not going to dedicate too much. He has a jump pad behind him to safely get out of there, and now with the heavy spawning again, it's a big risk. Not a lot of damage done to Cypher, but a very impressive rail nonetheless.
Yeah. And that is just a testament to how good Ranger is on this map. If you take a look at the item spawners in the top left corner, they are taken by the same person. Both showing 15 seconds to go, and it was Cypher to take them both. Such exquisite use of the orb right there, putting him in a very good situation. But Raisy actually doing most of the damage, retaliating properly. And right now, it's Raisy with the stack advantage.
Now Raisy's going to go in for the heavy. The rocket detonation sound is going to kind of give Cypher the knowledge that he's pop dip, does not teleport, not want to dedicate way too hard. That's the thing about him being now on tournament point, is that one mistimed dire orb or one bad play could be the difference between going home and staying in tomorrow. So you know he's going to second guess every decision he makes here.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a crucial round that neither of these players wants to give up a bad fight.
Oh, he misses it! Misses the rail! And even if the rail hit, I'm pretty sure Raisy would have survived. That was surgical, just in and out, get the job done. And Raisy has the advantage, using that time to get control back too. In the blink of an eye, Raisy now has full control.
That definitely wasn't Cypher's fight to take, but he did surrender the frag right there 2 minutes into this round. Raisy is looking solid. Of course, keep in mind, if Cypher win this one, it's over. He will go on into tomorrow rather, but Raisy still has 2 rounds to go. He cannot afford to lose a single more round to his opponent.
Now with that, Megri's going to be a little bit close, but Cypher has been missing a fair amount of rails in this final round. He's going for those little flicks and around the corner, preemptive use of the dual wield. Most of the time in the map it's worked. Unfortunately, right now it has not. He's kind of just giving up a lot of cooldown, losing massive damage, and really need to start landing those miracle rails that we know he can land. Yeah,
well, he did do a decent amount of damage. Raisy was the better stacked player before that encounter, so even though he didn't get the frag, those nails did quite a bit to Raisy to get rid of all his armor. And right now, Cypher is looking pretty solid. Mega goes to him. Those tribals, surprising amount of damage based on the angle. Both players are eyeing this heavy. They know that the other knows that they're there. Nicely done by Cypher, perfectly timed, and Raisy goes down. 2 minutes to go.
Those 2 health bubbles are going to bring Cypher back up to max HP, but watch out for the orb! Mistimes the orb by just a split second, so he's not going to be able to teleport to where Cypher is. That would have been a guaranteed frag if he did, but I'm so surprised Cypher actually stayed back there. Yeah, that was a good read by Raisy to double back and get it. He's actually double backed Cypher many, many times in this series. and he's going to stay true to his tactic.
Yeah, had that rail connected, that would have been the frag for Raisy, but he just barely missed it and gave Cypher yet another opportunity to stay in this. A minute and a half left to go. It's BJ versus Ranger right now. Mega will be up first, and then there is an enormous 20-second delay before Heavy spawns after.
That is significant, and
Yep.
that's the potential for one player to maintain control of all the items for the rest of the map, to be honest. But it's going to be Mega right now, going to Cypher.
Raisy definitely has the better stack for the time being, and he knows there's the opponent. This Cypher has no clue, but he drops down.
The entry rocket doing 100, forcing the dual wield. Raisy definitely heard that. He's being aggressive. Can he land the money shot? Needs one more. Yeah, it's just out. He's getting out of there. There's no way he's taking that fight.
I mean, if he had lost that fight, it probably would have been over. If Raisy had died right there. Oh, he's jumping over Cypher's rocket. Cypher's so low. Misses the rail. That would have been it. That would have been a kill had Cypher landed that rail, but now he's got 30 seconds left to make another frag happen.
There's a lot of these rails missing, unfortunately. That's costing both players. It's hard to say in hindsight anymore because there are some crucial misses on both times, but Cypher's got to be a little bit nervous now.
Yeah, oh, and he pushes though.
Oh,
and
the combo 1
HP.
Not that it would have made a difference, but come on now. We're down to our final round.
Final map, final round for the final matchup of the day. Who will take it home? Who will make it into day 2? Will it be Cypher or will it be Raisy? We're about to find out as we jump into this one. Raisy starting it off on the BJ, Cypher with the Ranger.
I mean, I don't even want to think about how both these players are feeling right now. This is Stress City. One round and one player's going home. Raisy's popping his dual wheel, but Cypher has the stack advantage, absolutely. Tries to go in for the sniper of the SMG, but Raisy taking so much damage, but they get the trade! They both lose the Ranger and the BJ, and now it's been flipped on its head. It's just going to be a complete mirror image of what we just saw, but in reverse. Let's go! Yeah,
and that was so good for Raisy because he managed to actually pick up the lightning gun from the corpse of one of the players up there. That's something that you always got to keep in mind. Cypher landing 2 good rails, Raisy dropping down, but Mega will be there for him. Cypher's got to be careful though, he doesn't really have the stack to take any sort of close quarters fights against Raisy, and that might just be what happens. Raisy pushing in mercilessly.
Oh!
Cypher!
Again, just he zigged when he should have zagged, basically. If he just kept looking down that corridor, he would have got some entry damage, but because he was caught off guard, which is definitely not the first time he has been caught off guard by Raisy in this series, he was not able to return the damage. He's down to his keel. He has to now make a 2v1 champion comeback, and Raisy with that miracle champion of Ranger and the chunky hitbox of keel. This has to be a scary encounter right here.
Yeah, Cypher does have the better stack, but he's still missing the rocket. Raisy actually getting away unharmed. No damage taken whatsoever, getting himself back up to 100-100. If anything is in Cypher's favor right now, it is the time. He still has 3.5 minutes to make something happen, so he definitely doesn't need to rush anything. He doesn't need to take fights that he doesn't feel comfortable with. Raisy just slowing it down tremendously, though, waiting down at that blood pool, as Cypher is stalking, prowling the map, looking for a sign of his opponents.
Raisy was able to spring the trap here before. The second he jumped down, and actually Cypher jumped down a second time in a row. The last time he did that was when Raisy had the time on his side. But this time no traps being sprung. And this is, you thought things were tense before. Try now.
Yeah, and look at those stacks at the top of the screen. Cypher is just dominating Raisy right now, but he is the one on the back foot. He needs to chase and get at least one more frag in the next 2.5 minutes. This is tense.
Do we believe that Raisy can run away for 3 minutes? Do we think that's possible?
Yes. I believe. I think he could do it. He's done it more often than once. This is something that Raisy can do.
And this will be the most frustrating way for Cypher to go out as well.
Yeah.
Which means the chance of him getting flustered and maybe rushing and making a mistake so Raisy can capitalize massively goes up. If he goes out of position, like might be right now, no dire orb used by Raisy, and that makes total sense. He is saving that for a rainy day. Oh, the return.
Yep. Cypher has put a very nice delay on the 2 major items. This allows him to take up Heavy, and then he has 10 seconds to make it over to Mega comfortably as well. He messes up the rocket jump over to Heavy. It's all those small things that add up over time that complicate finding one more frag. 2 minutes to go. Raisy running down the clock.
It's that level of passiveness. Raisy is, Cypher is collecting these 2 pickups, and it's so easy for him to take them that he knows Raisy is allowing it to happen. He needs to now hide for just over 2.5 minutes at this point, and actually no, sorry, 1.5, my bad, I can't maths today. It's been a long day. Either way, this is stressful for Cypher. He's now in big trouble. He's now shooting spammy rockets everywhere, just trying to get some data. He has no idea where Raisy is because he's been playing that slow game so perfectly. And now it's critical. He has to make a play. If he's too aggressive, though, he might run into an orb. He might run into damage. He's caught sight of Raisy now. He needs to just beat this Panther. Do not let him go. Collect the stack along the way, but don't overextend.
Cypher just looking for a glimpse of his opponent. A minute left to go. He needs to make it happen, and soon too. And he knows exactly where Raisy's gonna go, back into that safety corner, starting to rocket jump to get himself a little bit more speed. But in doing so, he is sacrificing some stack. That's a good opening rail. This might be Cypher's opportunity. Another one. One more will do it. He's gonna rocket jump up, but a bit too late. Had he done that a second earlier, he would have gotten himself a frag, probably.
He just doesn't know where he just does not know where Raisy is retreating. He's playing this defensive game so well, and he's running out of time. 40 seconds on the clock. Cypher, you got to make something happen now, mate. I know it's easier said than done here, but this is your tournament point. He's so close.
Yeah, you gotta keep in mind, O'Keel is a heavy champion. Definitely not someone you want to be on when you have to chase down someone as nimble and mobile as Ranger is. Cypher desperately looking for a sight of his opponent. Not gonna find it. Raisy down below in the blood pool. Good use of the grenades. That's one shot. 10 seconds to go. Cypher closing the gap.
Oh, and he gets the teleport on the orb. He has to try and head him off, but it's one side of the map or the other. I really feel like this is going to be impossible. We're on the verge now of Raisy taking him out. 2 seconds left. Raisy has done it. A hard-fought match. Cypher is going to be eliminated from this tournament, and he just couldn't catch him.
Nope, Raisy was a little bit too slippery at the end and just stayed clear of his opponent. Cypher had some opportunities, especially at the end right there, but I think he somehow got thrown off by that orb that Raisy threw, and I think he thought that maybe Raisy was somewhere on the other side, but he wasn't.
I felt like it just came down to a straight-up 50-50 at the end. Yeah. Has he gone to the orb or has he not? I have to dedicate just in case, and unfortunately for Cypher, he fought so hard and he played with his heart completely out, but it wasn't enough. He came so close, but Raisy still remains to have his number.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is a bit of redemption for Cypher, though. He's shown that he's still in it, but just not this time. And on that note, I think we're going to jump right into the interview with our winner, which is Maestro Raisy. Or not quite just yet. I'm gonna wait for one more second. But yeah, Cypher, I think he has shown his worth still. I think he has proven that he is still a top contender, ready to compete with the very best at any given time.
He can feel proud of how far he took it, but he's always going to be disappointed with not getting the win because he's a champion among champions at the end of the day. We have now got the winner interview ready to go, so...
Raisy, congratulations. You obviously slowed the game right down, but at the same time, you could argue you had good reason to. Let's give props where it's due. Cypher looked like a completely different player than when you played him this morning.
Yes, I would say so too. And his control was insane. I could hardly catch a breath. And I don't really feel proud the way I played, but I had to.
You did what it takes, to be fair, and you made it into the Final Four. So not only, of course, are you in the prize money, you now have one of the tickets to DreamHack Winter as well. And tomorrow you're going to be playing for all the marbles. Everything's reset. You can take a bit of a breather tonight and mentally refocus on tomorrow. How do you anticipate that's going? Are you playing the exact same game you played today, or are you switching it up?
I don't know yet. First, I would like to have some food and recharge and sleep well. And then tomorrow, with a fresh mind, I'll see.
All right, well, you're up against other titans of the game tomorrow. The matches are only going to get harder from here, but congratulations, you've made it. You're where it counts at the end of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, Raisy, our fourth and final player through to the semi-finals tomorrow. We'll be back here on this stage in the morning to bring you the first one of those in the double elimination day 2. For now, analyst, it's over to you to break down how that game